Are we good?
Trying to be me, man.
I wish I was you.
Ooh.
We're good now.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Youngtown. If you don't know me online, known as Youngtown. Also, help run Super Smash Academy on YouTube. So if you've seen that as well, woo, hand over to also Smash Academy.
As you can see, I'm obviously not chilling, dude. But I actually work with Youngtown over here on Smash Academy. My name is SK Jinx. I'm a lead writer and editor for it. I've been working with them for about 6 months now, so it's been a really awesome experience.
Hi, I'm Mike Hayes. Chillin' couldn't make it, so I figured this would be appropriate. So I've improved a lot. Like, I think my practice regimens are pretty optimal when I practice. If we're talking melee, so we'll be talking about that. At the end, we'll have a Q&A as well. If you guys have specific questions, we're all down to answer, of course.
Yeah, we'll have like 15 minutes for Q&A, so it should be pretty awesome. So I think I wanted to start off the panel by we don't have like a cool projector setup or anything like that, so you just get to look at our beautiful faces for the whole panel. I know, feel very privileged. I'm kidding. So I wanted to start off because I only started competitive melee like not too long ago, but I wanted to ask you guys, what were some of the like tips or things that were taught to the both of you when you were first starting off that you wish you hadn't had taught to you? Like some things that started off some like ill practices.
Oh, bad practice?
Yeah, bad practice, like bad tips.
Dude, I think like just playing to play. I think that was the worst thing for me, at least. Like, a lot of people will get in that habit when you first start playing, or when you first start wanting to improve. You get in that habit of just playing to play. Like, someone will say, "Oh, you just need to grind that out," and that's true to an extent.
Yeah.
But if you're playing like autopilot and you're playing just like without thinking, then I think that's the worst habit you can have. I think that's the worst thing you can do.
When you say like playing to play, like elaborate on that just a little bit. Just like literally just like not playing with any sort of mindset.
Yeah, exactly. Like
all.
you're just playing to play. Like you're just playing with no mindset. You're playing with no thought behind it, other than just playing.
This was advice given to you to help you improve, just like play to play.
Well, I mean, because you give that advice, right? Like, oh, how do I escape the situation? And then they say, oh, dude, you just have to work on that. You just have to like grind it out and play enough. And I think that's terrible. Like, it's obviously good. You obviously need time and experience.
Right.
But if you're not thinking at all, if you're not, oh my lord, oh,
so sultry.
If you're not thinking at all, if you're not putting time into actually putting effort, thinking, and being like
present,
present, exactly, then you're not really going to do anything.
To kind of extend on what Mike said, what I really wish that I learned how to do, and by the way, I've played for about a few years now, competitively anyways, was how little bots teach you. Like, they're not humans, obviously, of course. So when you learn to play in the game, you really want to play with a human mindset going in. Again, like Mike says, playing with no mindset, kind of just no concrete foundation. You're really kind of just playing the game as is. A lot of players now I see nowadays really want to pick up like let's say Fox or something, and they just want to like learn tech skill, spam tech skill. Really, and of course it's easy to do against bots, right? You know what I mean? So I guess what I would want to have learned when I was starting out playing was really have players be my main source of practice and whatnot, not bots in your basement, and really get all my training proper from the start. So,
okay, so kind of segueing from the whole bots thing, now we are in an era, right, with 20XX TE, where we have like all these resources here to like play against these bots that are just far beyond anything we've ever seen, right? They're just like they're like cell level, like Dragon Ball Z.
They're programmed to have like quote unquote perfect tech skill. Of course, not that of a human. So
okay, so in regards to training against like let's say some of these more advanced bots, like for a modded version of Smash, I don't think there's a modded version for Smash like exists for Smash 4 to train against like more higher like AI or whatever. Do you guys is there? There is. Okay. So advantages, disadvantages about practicing against these kind of bots.
Dude, it's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually amazing. How many of you guys, can you raise your hand if you're like a competitive melee player? Okay, can I cuss? Am I allowed to cuss? Let's go. Dude, training against like CPU is amazing in 20XX. Like, literally 80% of my practice is practicing Punish Game on Fox CPU and the Hackback. a lot of that's going to be like chain grab practice. If you guys ever stop by my stream, that's like half of what I do. Chain grab practice, practice ledge dashing, practice like Firefox stalling, all that stuff, right? Like all that basic tech skill that you need to get down for tournaments. If you don't have that, if you can't do it in practice, that's one thing. If you can't do it in practice, you're never going to do it in tournament. It's just not going to happen. That extra pressure is not going to make you better somehow. It's going to make you worse. So if you can't do it like perfectly against a CPU, that's not going to happen. The benefit though of 20XX is like they have random DI as well, so you can basically you have to react to all these situations as opposed to having a predetermined outcome. Like if you're playing an opponent, right, that you might know their habits, they're going to DI away every time. The 20XX CPU is going to be 100% random.
No, exactly. And a big part of that is the fact that a lot of players who are using 20XX really need to learn. Like, it's giving you the tools to play in tournament, but in reality, the player needs to be able to adapt in tournament with these moves. And 20XX is just specifically a tool to learn how to deal with box pressure or something like that. So it doesn't teach you the adaptive. Like, even if you set it to random, like say random DI or something, not necessarily every player has habits. So you will never learn to do random stuff in tournament because humans aren't random people. So picking up on habits, picking up on adaptive stuff isn't something you learn in 20XX necessarily.
Right, and that's the other part of it, right? So, as a Fox player, I think most of the things you can do are reactive. So if I'm doing tech chases, like that's something I'll grind on the CPU. DI is something you can grind on the CPU because it's gonna be random, so that's good. But I said that's like 70 or 80% of my practice. The other half is analyzing, and that's very, very crucial. Whether you're analyzing, left in or Armada's Fox, if you're gonna do that, that's what I would suggest. I think they have a lot more of a straightforward mindset and options that they pick. It's a lot easier to kind of understand what they do, but it's also important to like watch your own matches too if you get the opportunity. Like invest in like a $10 capture card, record your matches, watch them, and see what you can do differently, just to have a different idea of what options you have.
So for these guys that are like just starting out, right? I don't know if for the players just starting out, they need to start jumping into analyzing HBox, analyzing Armada play, right then and there. So as far as analyzing, can you both expand a bit more on analyzing self starters? Like you're just starting to get in competitive play. I think I know in my local community, they do record like their locals and that sort of thing. So you can analyze local players within that environment. But expand on that just a little bit more.
Well, okay, so if you're in a region where you have tournaments, please like talk to your local TO and see if they have a streaming setup, if they can record that kind of stuff. It'd be awesome if they could. And to expand on that, yeah, it's like a lot of players will look to top level players to understand the way the game is meant to be played at top level, but that doesn't translate to lower level play or mid level play. So when you learn to play the game, it's best to watch your matches and matches close to your skill level. When you try to pick up on techniques and stuff that are necessarily working at high level, it does not translate to low level. So essentially, even the same techniques you see higher level players use, you may not even be able to implement them because let's say the top level players are teching away and doing the proper techs away each time. Low level players may not be doing that, which is why, like before, you need to adapt to that kind of thing. So,
I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
I think with analyzing though, like you can watch videos, so that's good. But if you don't have access to it, because a lot of players won't be put on stream, right? The majority won't, and that's just what it is. Either buy your own, or just like, I think the most important thing when you're trying to get better is to have a good mindset. That's the majority of it. Like you get your tech skill down, and like that's a big part of it. And once you get your tech skill 100, then like you can start getting into mind games and you start getting to all of that. But without a good mindset, you'll never get there. So I was going to say the most important thing is to have a good mindset and start asking yourself questions. Like if you're a player that's just starting out, or even like someone who's maybe making it halfway through pools or even getting out through pools, start asking yourself like, well, why am I in this situation? Like let's say you get hit. Why am I here? How did I get here? How can I avoid this? If you get 0 to death, like that's pretty obvious. Like, well, how did I get grabbed here? Like, how did I get hit here to make this happen?
For sure. No, I have a question. I have a question for you specifically, Mike. Now, I've seen you many a time on stream, both yours and outside of it, and you seem to have, at least in my opinion, one of the better mindsets, at least by appearance alone. Because even though like you could be on stream and get bopped, right? But you still come out with like a smile and a seemingly positive attitude. Now, I don't know if this is that true? Like, what are you telling yourself in that moment?
Like the Falcon Punch, that sucked, right? But No, you can't let situations like that really break you. I mean, what's that going to do, right? Let's say I get someone destroys me, I get Falcon Punch or something, and I get tilted, I get mad. Like that's not going to do anything for my losers bracket run. It's not going to do anything for my work ethic. It's not going to do anything positive for my mindset. So there's no point. Um, that's one thing. I also think it's important to have fun though. And if you asked me like a week ago, I would have said fun is stupid. I would have said like who has fun in tournament. But I've been hanging out with Ice a lot. Ice, amazing player, amazing person.
From Germany, right?
Yeah, he's from Germany, but he's been training my mindset, breaking my ego a lot down. It's been great. He's been telling me a lot of crazy stuff.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go
Actually,
ahead.
to segue on that. So yeah, a huge part of like middle, lower level play is really understanding the way the mindset works. So you can't get like down on yourself when things happen in play. Let's say you get up throw like rested by Jigglypuff as Fox or something. You can't really just like be like what like you can't get down on yourself in the middle of the match. You really got to learn to take that and just roll with it because that's what separates like great players from amazing players. The fact that they can hold that mindset and really roll with the momentum and roll with the punches as well.
So okay, here's another question. When we talk about positive mindsets, having kind of a positive outlook, does this translate for both of you, right, in real life as well? Do you try to maintain a positive outlook, a positive mindset, so that it does translate in competitive play?
Absolutely. I think everything, and that's the beauty of Melee or whatever you're doing, competitive Melee, Smash 4, anything you're doing competitive, it's going to transfer over to everything else you do, right? Like, I rap as well, you know this. So, like, I rap.
Is good.
If I have a negative mindset about my rap or how I sound or how I'm writing, it's not going to do anything. I'm just going to not want to do that, right? So, like, that's something I really, really learned and carry over to other aspects of my life.
No, for me exactly, it's the same way. Everything I do from like music design to graphic design, it's just like a lot of Melee players when they learn how to take these steps to getting a better mindset in play, it really does translate to your actual life and how to handle real life problems that much better. When I'm not satisfied with a piece of work with graphic design, it's just like I'm okay to stay, like take a break, step away from it, relax, kind of get back to it later. While before I learned all these steps to do this, you could see the same way in my Melee practices that I would get really hung up on these one little things and constantly grind and never get anywhere. And that's where a lot of mid-level players or level players plateau, is that they can't get to the next level because they're not able to, really figure out how to step away and kind of just like get a grasp on everything and really come back later and do better. So
how much training is enough? When do you know when to stop and like when to actually take a break and to come from it? Because I know with anything, right, you do need to take a break. You need like a fresh ears, fresh eyes.
This is a bit okay. It's different for everybody because I know a lot of players can go like 10 hours to like 12 hours in a row, just
ridiculous.
practice, amazing amount of tech skill. The thing is though, it's different for everyone. Some people have different levels of frustration. Some people who can like take the punches, they can like lose time after time and time again, and then just keep going. There are players like that, but there's a lot of players. They don't like the adversity. Sometimes they'll take a couple losses and they're done. Like they don't want to go any more than that. So it's really good to have another set of human eyes to really watch your play and understand. Okay, maybe you're not really like if you're doing the same habit over again and you're not really adapting. Maybe it's time to take a break. Really kind of go back and like just refresh a little bit. This is why watching videos and stuff is so important because you can see where your habits are coming from. And the reason why it's good to have another pair of eyes in the room is so they can kind of monitor your overall play. Because, of course, when you're getting stressed or whatever, you're not exactly concentrating 100%. So you need someone with an unbiased view of your play to really understand how much training you need. Preferably a higher level player than you, of course. So
solid.
My honest answer is the wrong answer, which is I will never stop playing. Right? Like I just want to play all the time. But I'll give you Ice's answer, which is if you don't feel like playing, don't play. And he'll literally tell me that. He's like, dude, if you don't feel like playing today, you don't have to play. There's other things you can do to still work on it. There's other things you can still do to work on your overall plan, right?
Yeah.
Like you can go on a run, and he says that helps him. Like it helps him keep himself composed, keep himself focused. Or you can spend time analyzing. Or you can take a break, and that's okay too. That's what Ice would say, and I think that's the correct answer overall. That's not my answer, though. My answer is...
Your answer is go,
always,
go until you exhaust yourself, right?
Yeah, basically. No, for real. I'll keep going, and I know that's not always good. But it is important to split up your practice, though. Like, watch videos, like, grind stuff in the game.
Kind of like if you're streaming, like, solo, right? And
you're
just kind of grinding stuff out. You want to kind of break it up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I see a lot of like players like you and other top players as well do that. They'll go to like analyzing matches. Like maybe one stream they're just like they're just analyzing.
No, yeah. No, I think that's the best way to do it.
That sort of thing. So what I'm gathering a lot from what you guys are saying is learn how to adapt. And some of these tips are not just like grind, right? Things that you could be doing outside of a match mentality, like going on runs, taking a break, that sort of thing. All right, cool.
I think the just to go back, I was talking about Ice and what he taught me.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know Ice, he's from Europe, he's from Germany, and they have a very different mindset with a lot of things. Like, it was funny because he was having a discussion with someone, and this is the first time I saw it, where this person was trying to prove their point, and they got loud and they got like aggressive with their tone. And Ice is like, "Why are you putting emotion behind it?" Like, and I forgot what his response was, but he was just saying like how in Europe they don't handle it that way. It doesn't matter if it points right or wrong; they're more talking to learn. And I was just like, "That's really cool, right?" So we started talking a lot, and he gave me a lot of like weird mindset advice, but it was because it was so different to what I'm normally used to. Like normally, I go into tournament, I don't talk to people, I just play my matches, and like I go in like full killer mode. Like I'm just trying to win, you know. But Ice will tell me things like, I think this is the best one that stuck out to me. He said, "Why are you getting nervous at the tournament? Like you're putting so much effort to this tournament, but every day is a tournament."
Mm-hmm.
And and he broke it down. And he was saying, "Yeah, like what's your practice? What are you watching, analyzing? What are you doing to your body? What are you doing to your mindset? All that stuff is eventually going to add up to a better you, right? And it's going to be a better you at tournament."
My God, is Ice Yoda?
Yeah, another thing is that
He's nuts.
yeah,
Ice
a
is nuts,
huge part of that is that like, of course you can't grind mindset. Of course, it's not really how it works. So it's just like that kind of stuff is like, tournament nerves is like the most common killer for a lot of players. It's the reason why they can't do well tournaments because they can't get over tournament nerves. So finding out a way to get past that is like honestly one of the biggest steps to really upping your play. It isn't even your tech skill at that point. It's just really understanding why you're getting nervous in tournaments. So
How many of you gotten nervous in tournament before?
yeah, exactly. Like most people do.
All of us.
Like all of us.
So when I give lessons at home, you know, I do mailing lessons, and when all my students always give the same thing, they always say I get nervous in tournament. So when I ask them is why do you get nervous in tournament, and then a lot of the time, the majority of the time, they say I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're saying, it's important to break down why you get nervous in tournament. I still get nervous in tournament. Like this is still a thing. Up until honestly, it is funny because now that I have Ice as my like little coach, I haven't gotten nervous in like the last 4 tournaments. When I was in Texas, I ended up beating Wobbles, who I haven't beaten before. They've done very well overall. But the thing is, like, you have to ask yourself, why am I getting nervous? And usually I find it's one of 2 reasons. One of them is you set expectations for yourself. You set expectations to want to place well, or to beat a certain person, or to not lose to a certain person. That's number 1. And then number 2, it might be like external factors, like you didn't practice enough, or you're not confident enough in your play. And if one of those is happening, yeah, you're going to get nervous. Like you're on stage, you need to perform at this moment. The other aspect is like what I do, what I've trained myself to do a lot. And again, I still get nervous from time to time. But an important thing is like taking all of that away, right? Because you have that problem where you're getting nervous, or you're expecting to win, or you're playing not to lose. But if you take that away, if you take away any expectations from the event and just play it like it's another day, I find I do a lot better.
So you have been doing a lot better recently because of that switch of mindset.
Right.
And you haven't really done anything else externally, like within just within practice, just in like that sort of thing.
No, all mindset, dude. I'm telling you, like, all right, I'll tell you the day. So I was at Toph's house like about 2 years ago, and this is when I was still a noob, right? This is when I was like not ranked top 100 at all. Like I was just bad, and I was at Toph's house, and I'm grinding tech skill, and I'm like, you know, I could do everything Armada can do in terms of tech skill. Why is Armada like 200 times better than me?
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, I realized it's all mental game. In terms of, you know, knowing your opponent, understanding your opponent, but also in mindset. Like at the point where I'm at now, I feel like the majority is just mindset too. Like, am I getting nervous in tournament? Am I playing too aggressive? If I get destroyed, am I going into the next stock with an ego and trying to destroy my opponent? Like I ask myself these questions now in friendlies, or when I rewatch matches. So like it's huge. It's huge.
Wow. So ego can be like a big factor and a big like boundary, really, as well.
Absolutely.
Armada is just like a machine, though, right? Like, man, does he have any emotion at all? Is that an attest to why like he's so good?
Well, yeah, it's exactly the reason why you can see like Armada like get 4-stocked, immediately reverse that 4-stock the next match. It's because he doesn't crack under pressure, right? That's not tournament nerves. So when you see players who are able to like Leffen, Armada, like these players who can get bodied really hard in matches and then immediately just come back the next game. So
they're insane. They're insane. Anything else? Are we about ready for Q&A? Yeah? You guys ready for some Q&A stuff?
Yeah.
You guys want to ask some questions?
Sweet.
Sweet.
If you would raise your hand, I will come to you with a mic, and you're going to stand up and speak nice and loud directly into it. I'm going to start with you. Can you come to me, though? Because otherwise we're going to get feedback. Walk. Okay.
Hey guys,
What's up?
thanks for doing the panel. It's been really informative. So I'm 20 years old. I'm a student at university, and I feel like I want to focus on my studies, because it's really important, and I'm paying a lot of money.
Good.
So, but I want to also get good at Smash, and I feel like in order to practice effectively, I need a schedule. Do you guys have any tips on like scheduling your practice or like making the most of what limited time you might have?
Well, for scheduling, it's kind of course, it works around your schooling, of course. Like, don't sacrifice the most important things for Melee, obviously, unless Melee is your focus, of course. So, for me personally, like, the way I started practicing was I would segment my time into, okay, like this first day, I would just practice ledge dashes, and we really make a schedule depending on what I wanted to learn, and really segment just time each day. Of course, that can be subjective and adaptive. Of course, it can be flexible with it, but really don't like hold that result to actually hold that schedule, which is the important thing. Don't make a schedule for yourself and then stray away from that, because then there's no point in making it. So really, if you're gonna make a schedule, make sure that it's conformative to like your schoolwork and that you can like actually hold on to it. So
I think saying no is really important. If you keep a schedule, just like with anything in life, if you keep a schedule, like working out, right, is one of the hardest things to get us to actually go and do. But a lot of the things that we don't like to do are still good for us. And so I think just by saying no, so if like a friend wants to just like hang out and kind of, let's say like they want to play or they just want to like go get some pizza or something while you have like scheduled time, be like, nah, man, hit me up like in another hour or so, like whenever I'm done with that.
Exactly. It's a matter of holding your stuff at a certain priority level. So
You have anything to add to that?
Yeah. I think it's two parts. Like one part goes into like how good do you want to be, right? So at that point, like you're saying priorities, but I think it's also sacrifice as well.
Right.
For myself, like to give you an example, before Evo, we're having Smash Fest, and I'm hanging out with Hugs, like he's one of my best friends, and he's like, "Oh, let's go to the bar," and I'm like, "No, like Evo is like in 4 days. I'm not going to the bar. No, I'm gonna practice. Like I'm gonna stay home and practice." And like I did this for a long time, so like it is also sacrifice too. But I mean that depends on how good you want to get. Like I want to be the best, and that's my goal. So I'm gonna do what I need to do that. That's one. And two, when you're practicing, like you don't necessarily need to put in 5 hours a day. If you can, like that's super dope because it's gonna get you there faster. But I think the most important thing is to figure out how to practice optimally, like how to use your time most efficiently. If you think about it, like where I'm at right now, so in my region, I'm number 7, meaning right above me, number 6 is Hugs, 5 is MacD, 4 is STJ, 3 is Lucky, 2 is Westballs, 1 is Mango. All those people have like 4 years of time on me, right? They've been playing 4 years longer than me. How do I catch up to that? So what that's going to be is practicing a lot, but practicing efficiently as well. Making sure that I'm not, wasting time like trying to triple shine grab or something. Like that's not going to do anything for me.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so substantial practice is also exactly a very important thing. This goes back to earlier where it's good to have another set of eyes in the room to really understand, like, is this person really improving at all? Like, or are they just plateauing and not really getting anywhere? And that's when it's time to, step back and stuff. So
Thanks for your question, man. Hope that helps.
All right, I'll take you.
yeah.
What tips do you have for someone who wants to start a tournament scene in a small rural town?
Advertise.
But how?
Of course, advertising is the most important thing when you're running a tournament. New tournament series especially. But I think Smash is common enough amongst people that you can get a good number if you advertise well. So when I used to TO, what I used to do was like print flyers, and that like got me so much mileage. Like it's still underrated. No, I don't know why nobody in my region doesn't do that, but like printing out flyers is like it's super OP.
No one prints flyers.
No one prints flyers anymore. We just like post SSS like, hey, this is happening on Saturday and it's Wednesday.
They just
Sunday.
expect people like social media, just like
Yeah, we
blast?
and even then it's very basic. And we
Wow.
still get SoCal has the biggest locals. We get 220 for a monthly. So, but anyway, I think when you're starting off, it's important to do basic advertising. Post on your college campus, post on your high school campus, leave a bunch of flyers, put them on walls, and like you can use social media, use Reddit. Be like, yo, I'm hosting a tournament in this town. We're just starting out. Come check us out. You can do all sorts of stuff like that. But I think that gets a lot of mileage. Same with like a local community Facebook group, right? Let's say you're in Baltimore, be like Baltimore Facebook or Baltimore video games or Baltimore whatever. Baltimore is the city, and post, hey, I'm hosting a video game tournament for this game. Blah 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 blah. I think you get a lot of mileage off of that.
Yeah, I agree. To add on what Mike says, I think people really take for granted the whole hand-to-hand exchange nowadays, and they strictly stick to social media for their communication and just for all around anything. Anything to add?
Yeah, exactly. I'm covering like the middle of nowhere in Canada, and we're still able to pull in like a decent amount of entrants per weekly. So, a huge thing again with the physical mediums to actually advertise your stuff, whether you're a TO or not, really just spreading the word. So really finding those popular areas in your region and really push your advertisements there. Other than that, honestly, just make sure that it's getting like spread mouth of word and everything. Find out all the mediums that people use in your region and really use that as exposure for your.
Oh, I got an idea. Go to all your Pokestops.
That was a good one.
I mean,
That's
people
true,
need,
yeah.
people need to be doing that now, utilizing Pokemon Go as trying to find a lot of hands to hand stuff. Is that good?
Does that help? Cool. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna come on over to you next.
So, do you have any advice for like practicing and switching between multiple games, and also to a lesser extent multiple characters?
You just dropped a multi-dimensional question. Not just characters, but games.
No, that's hard.
Okay, that one's a big one because you're really expanding on a really big area of stuff now. You're covering a lot of ground with that. Like it's everything from tech skill to mindset. It's like you're playing a completely different game. It isn't just Smash Brothers. You're playing a completely different game. Yeah, it has the title Smash Brothers, but the way Smash 4 and Melee work are way too different to really even compare. So when you're really trying to jump from game to game, it's really understanding what are you concrete in which game and really utilizing that to your advantage. Like, let's say you're playing Smash 4 and you're playing Melee, just like, is my spacing good in Melee and can I use that to my advantage in Smash 4? And really understanding what skills translate over, so.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. If you guys don't know, I was really good at Brawl, and I'm pretty good at Melee. So, like, I've done two things high level. I think it's doable, though. Like, you're going to be practicing. It's a lot of the same stuff, too. Like, I know how to bait spacing. I know how to bait people. I know how to put them into bad situations. It's pretty much the same thing, just on, like, either a faster or slower scale. So that's one part. But again, like, if you have a positive mindset or if you work on that a lot, like, it's just going to carry over and you're going to have the same type of, like, advancements. If you have a good mindset, then, like, at that point, it's just learning your opponent, right? Because you're gonna have that willingness to learn. You're gonna be able to just learn your opponent, and it's gonna transfer over. In terms of like playing tournament, like let's say you're doing Smash 4 and Melee right after. I don't know. That's hard.
That's ridiculous.
I can't do it like right after another.
No, yeah. I mean, I guess my advice: turn into a demigod. A
That's really
Smash
the only way to
god.
be perfect.
I guess we need M2K up here to answer that. Really.
Yeah.
How was he able to do that?
I don't know. He's nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts. Oh, he's a robot.
Yeah.
He's
He
nuts.
is.
Thank you.
I hope that somewhat helps.
Yeah, that's hard.
All right, here you go.
Hey, thanks. This is more directed towards Mike, but would you consider rap battling chillin'?
We're actually rap battling tonight.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys can check it at the main stage. It's gonna be over at 10 p.m. Right?
Yeah.
We're starting. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be cool. Youngtown's gonna be there too. Me and Chillin. Hopefully, we got some good stuff. I hope he actually like raps this time because last year it was kind of there's a lot of him saying, "Yo, hold up." I hope he brings it to the table this year. Youngtown knows. You can stay quiet, homie. I got you. You don't have to say it.
It's so funny and so true.
What do you recommend for Mega Man mains to do?
Say what?
What do you recommend for Mega Man mains to do in Smash 4?
Well, Youngtown, as our resident Smash 4 player,
What was the question again? What Mega Man mains to do? I mean, I guess do what Mega Man was built to do and just annoy the living snot out of everyone with your projectile
Yeah.
games, right? Set them up into that up tilt and just I guess. Is that good enough advice? If you're trying to get up and close with them, you better be going for the kill or for one of that back grab, right? Is it that back throw that's really good on Mega Man? I'm super knowledgeable, guys. Thanks for your question, bro.
So Smash isn't really big at my university, but I still play with my friends. The problem is, I wouldn't say I'm amazing, but I'm definitely better than the rest of my friends. So the problem is when I play against them, they don't like to play very much because I just keep beating them. So
This is a big one.
what can I do to encourage them to keep playing without having to like sandbag and not play my best to keep them interested?
Well, are your friends trying to play competitively as well?
A couple of them are, but others are they just want to have fun.
Okay, the issue is that competitive and casual are so different that sometimes you can't really do much about it. Sometimes your friends aren't just going to want to play and just get bodied and force stocked over and over again. It's just not the way it works. But with the other ones who want to play competitively, you really got to get a handle of what their mindset on the game is, like how good do they want to be at the game and what their schedule is for playing and stuff. And really take advantage of that. Like if they're on the same schedule for you and everything because of the same school, whatever, that's perfect. Bring them to bring them to local tournaments and really just try to figure out where they're at. So
same.
Same?
No, really. At tournaments, I think is when I improve a lot more because I get to play a lot of different styles. I get to play a lot of different skill levels. So I think that's the best. Like especially nationals. Like you're at a national right now. After this panel, go practice. Like that's what I'm gonna be doing. Same exact thing. Just to get like a good handle of different styles, make sure my punish game is up, and learn how to read a bunch of different opponents quickly. And that goes regardless of game you play.
That's a tough spot to be in, man. I feel you. No one wants to play with you because you're just too dang good.
What a bully, dude. Stop being a bully.
yeah, especially since the game is getting so big. Like so many groups of friends are playing the game right now, and only a few of them might want to do competitive. So this is definitely not a singular case. It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, up the house. Anyone have any mindset questions?
Ooh.
All right, coming to you.
Hey guys, thanks for taking the time to answer our questions. So yeah, this is a mentality question. So when you guys are in like the grind and practicing for hours and hours, have you guys ever gotten really like angry and frustrated? And if you have, how do you deal with that?
Yeah. I used to get this is a little known fact. I used to be a rager, dude. I used to get really mad. Like I remember one time, it was really funny. I lost it was like $1 money match. I was such a weenie. Oh my God. I was like 17. And I was so upset. And this is a true story. I punched the wall. And I was so embarrassed because I punched a hole in the wall and it was a big fiasco. I pulled the wobbles at the tournament. And it was very bad. But I used to be a rager. I used to get really pissed. But I kind of realized eventually, that's not going to do anything for you. Let's say I'm in a winner's bracket and I get salty. We kind of reflected upon this. Let's say someone destroys me. That's not going to do anything for me. If my goal is to perform my best at a tournament, being mad is not going to help. So that's the main part of it. I think maybe this will help you. I was talking again with Ice because Ice is a legend. He's just telling me all this stuff. But he gave me a piece of advice, which was a lot of people get frustrated when they lose or they get sad when they lose. And he said, make it so when you lose, you win. And that's all he left me with. And he stopped talking for 10 minutes after that. And I was asking him questions and he wouldn't respond. Eventually he clarified, but turn those situations where you're losing into a positive outcome. What did you learn from that? Losing isn't only losing, right? Losing is a learning experience.
Right.
It's teaching you what your flaws are.
No, exactly.
Right?
And you only really lose when you don't gain anything from it. That's a real loss, as if you don't learn anything. Exactly. So your feelings and your emotions and everything will reflect your gameplay so much. Absolutely, really, just trying to this goes back to practicing. I'm not a very easy person to anger, but Melee is one of the few things I've actually gotten extremely frustrated, extremely angry, extremely upset while playing. And again, this is also why I recommend you videotape yourself and you get someone else in the room with you. Don't play by yourself, otherwise you're just not going to get anywhere if you get frustrated. So
I think some advice that I can actually give on this subject is something I tell people often who get mad or get upset. Try not to indulge your emotions when they like beg for you to like. It's kind of like if you're like really really hungry and you see something unhealthy for you, and you know like that looks so tasty, but it's so not good for you to eat.
No.
Don't indulge yourself of that thing that you know you shouldn't eat. With kind of like a thing if I'd get in fights with like my parents or fights with my friends or something like that, and I'd see them get emotionally compromised, it would be a fair reminder, like, okay, don't indulge in your emotions, like, because whenever we indulge in our emotions, I think 9 times out of 10 we do something that is uncharacteristic of who we are.
Last thing on that, I think it's also important to try to realize or understand why you get mad, if you do get mad or sad or upset.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most important part. Be objective with yourself. Be real with yourself. Ask yourself, why am I mad here? And I think from there you can start resolving really any problem you have in life.
Very good.
All right, I think this is going to be our last question for today.
Perfect.
Hello there.
Hi.
What's up?
All right, got a question for you. I got to go back to work. That's really loud.
Yeah, we
Oh,
can't
okay.
hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? All right.
Oh,
now-
yeah.
That's
Now we
perfect.
can.
All right, cool.
Sweet.
All right, I got a friend at work who we got in this big debate, and I think you guys are the perfect ones to make my point rectifiable. I told him because I read the book from one of the best players in the world, Diago, and it talked about putting in a lot of effort. And I told him that, you know what, the more effort you put in, the more you're going to get out. And he flat out believes that that's impossible and that only if you're talented, only people who are talented get ahead in life, which is the sad part is he's going to go teach his
Dude,
son that, but
Your friend's a noob.
he is.
Your friend's
But
a noob. No, I think, sorry to cut you off. I think that's a stupid mindset to have in overall life. Because, like, what's your friend going to get, right? Like, oh, I want to be good at this thing, but I'm not naturally talented, so I'm just not going to do it. Like, that's stupid. That's the dumbest thing. Like, I know people like that too, and I'm just like, no, like you guys are stupid. Like, no, that is not the case. It all goes down to mindset though. There are people that believe that, like, if you're not naturally talented, you will never develop those skills. And I think that's the most, like, that's a mindset that's really going to hold you back in life. That's going to make it so you're not good at anything, right? Like, that's going to make you
Yeah.
be so complacent with whatever you do that you're just going to be mid-level at every single thing that you try to achieve.
Right.
And I think that's the worst possible mindset. If you have determination to want to get good at something and you have a positive mindset, you'll be great. When I first started playing Melee, so if you guys don't know about me, like right now I'm ranked like top 40-ish, maybe top 30. I'm gonna be number 5 on my PR with like next season with players who like are way above me right now, in terms of time. But like I'm there now, but I used to be really trash. Like it took me 6 months to win my first tournament set, like around 6 to 8 months. 2 years ago, Crimson Blur used to destroy me. Like I had all these things. Like I used to be really, really bad. But because of a good mindset, because of my determination to want to be good, and my willingness to learn, I became pretty decent. I still have a long way to go, but I think with these tools, like it'll help build me up.
no, exactly. Your like effort is important. Like it is a reflection of like how much effort you put in is a reflection of kind of the results you will get back in some cases. But again, a lot of it is mindset and like. Are you working effectively and efficiently versus just working kind of thing? So for me personally, when I started playing the game, I was like garbage. First tournament, I guess, was a local, and I placed like dead last, absolute dead last. My second tournament, 3 months later, after really efficient grinding with the top level players in my region, over 150 people came, and I placed 5th at that tournament. So it really is a reflection of are you willing to put in the effort and natural talent has some part of it, honestly, but that can only get you so far because natural talent doesn't really define the kind of specific mechanics about certain games and stuff. So
The way that I see talent personally is only how much effort is needed to actually get to the next step. So the way that I kind of see, let's say a talented person in like Smash is like out of 1 out of 10, they're like a 7. It's going to take them less time to get to like an 8 or a 9. You know, less effort, and that's really all I kind of really see as far as talent goes. And then after, you know, and then but say like you're like a 4 or 5, like maybe like Mike was right starting out.
That's like a 1.
Oh, like a 1 getting bought by Crimson Blur. He had to put in a lot more effort to reach higher levels. But I mean, like, yeah, but still, we have testament all across the board. I think everyone starts out as trash, and you just really have to just stick with it, have that positive mindset.
No, yeah, and a player would much rather, in my opinion, and personally for me, I would much rather be commended on like the amount of work I put in rather than any amount of natural talent
Absolutely.
at all. So it's really a reflection of your work ethic and your dedication to the game that you're playing. So
I don't really believe in talent. I think it's the same thing as saying you're lucky. And I don't believe in luck like that. Like, I think everything is the consequence of your own actions. Like, that's the worst thing. I hate that. Like, oh my God, Mike, like, you're so talented. Like, you're so good at this game. You're so talented, man.
It's kind of
And
like
I'm
a
like,
slight
no,
at you, right?
no, that's rude. No,
Yeah.
I'm not lucky. Like, this is a result of work effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
I don't believe in that, but I mean, teach their own.
Talent's so vague in general, anyways, right?
yeah, exactly. You may think it sounds like a compliment to say exactly like that, like you're so talented or whatever, but it really minimalizes how much effort we put in to our craft or whatever we're doing. So
Henceforth, you're all talented.
you're all talented.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Wow.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you to Youngtown, SK Jinx, and Mike Hayes. In about 15 minutes, the Reno Gaming Symphony is going to take the stage, so make sure you're back.